Today we were talking about my recommendations for studying the UCAT. So everyone's like, oh yeah, do I just do more practice questions? But the truth is like doing more and more practice questions is like doing maths questions without checking the answer, or about like playing chess, but you never like you use any sort of coaching or review system. Like sure, maybe you'll improve a little bit, but then you'll get stuck, you'll plateau. And so importantly within how to study for the UCAT is two questions that keep coming up. Number one, do I take notes? And number two, how do I review questions? And I'll see it's generally like quite organized students who are committed to these taking notes, but they come up with these like really elaborate long documents, and they every mistake, they write something down. Now, there's pros and cons to that approach. I generally find the purpose of notes is to help you retain some information for later on. Now, there's more purposes than that, but in the UCAT, there's basically no information you need to retain from later on. If you get a passage about the Battle of Gettysburg, that's not going to come up again, chances are. So actually making notes on a particular topic is not relevant. What I would write down is general strategies. And to me, like you're not going to review the notes, right? But there's a difference between retention and wanting to like know that information as knowledge versus understanding. And so I think the benefit of like writing some notes down is you actually work out, why did I get this wrong? Or like what specifically is the strategy here? You get explicit. So writing is just an advanced form of thinking in this example. So I think if it's brief, if it's a brief summary of like how did I go, what's like a key takeaway, that's fine. If for every question you're getting wrong, you're doing like a big paragraph and it's taking time and you're formatting things, I think that's probably too much. I think if I get a question wrong, I probably wouldn't review it again because you like remember the answer and it's a bit cheap. And I'm not sure that's the most efficient way of doing questions. But if I was sitting the UCAT again, I would basically have like one Word document and general take-home strategies I would put in there. So rather than say like, oh, in this question, I like wrote this because of this and this was the correct answer, I would say like, all right, when the question has the word, like when, if soft language present, e.g. may, might, could, can, the answer is more likely to be yes. And that could be sort of for the yes, no inference questions in decision making. And so you might segment it and say like, these are the question types and these are some strategies, and keep it succinct and short. But honestly, I wouldn't read those things repeatedly. It's just something that you write down to help you with understanding. So that raises the question, how do you review questions? So let's say you do a full time set, and you do your 44 questions of verbal reasoning in 22 minutes, you get 25 out of 44, and you've got 19 questions that you want to think about, plus a bit more. So I generally review the questions that I got wrong, that I spent too long on. So if you haven't seen my rule of 1.5 video, that's how I decide what's too long and what's not. So something I got wrong, something I spent too long on, and then something I guessed at the end. So it's these questions that I'll focus on. And then within that, I want to ask, like, why did I pick the wrong answer? Why did I miss the right answer? And what can I take away as a general strategy? Excuse my handwriting. So let's say I do a question, it's on the Battle of Gettysburg, and I get the question wrong. And then I'm thinking, okay, why did I pick the wrong answer? Well, I thought the answer would be like false because of this, but looking back, it could have been can't tell because theoretically it could be true here. Okay. That's why I missed the right answer of can't tell. I just didn't think of that possibility. So what will I do differently in the future? Well, maybe before I put like false, I will say, is there any possible way that this could be true? If there's not, then I'll happily pick false. And there's two sort of types of questions within that. Maybe upon reflection, there's questions where like the passage suggests that it's false, and there's passage where they explicitly state something, and they're the ones that are this was explicitly stated. So in that case, I'm going to think, can it be true here? Whereas if they're inferring something to be false, it's a bit different, and you have to just go on inference. So it's subtle. There's lots of techniques and details to get into, But I think if you ask yourself, like, why did I get this wrong? What did I do differently to get it right? What's a general strategy I can take away? And then for the stuff that's taking too long, it's like, okay, why did I spend too long on this? How can I adjust my approach to avoid spending too long on similar questions? Could I have skipped this question straight away because there's features that told me it would be long? Did I have any warning signs as I was doing it that that question was going to take me a while? So for example, if I'm doing a quantitative question, I read the question and I realize that there's like 10 steps here. Okay, skip. So you might reflect and say, okay, when I read that question, I knew it would have taken too long. I'm just going to skip it there. Or maybe I started on the question and I got an answer pretty quickly, but my answer wasn't one of the options. So then I redid it a couple of times and I just got stuck. Okay, all right, it wasn't too bad, but you tried it and you got a wrong answer. Now, as soon as you get the answer wrong, you should skip and move on. So you can come up with like general strategies that can apply to that case more broadly, and that can address the issue of incorrect ones or questions that you spend too long on. Questions that you guess, like there's not that much utility to it, but it's just mainly saying like, did you genuinely guess like the hard, challenging ones, or was it just the easy ones at the end, which is a problem? Let me know if you've got questions about these concepts. It's something that I will talk further about, but the best place to go next is to check out the following short video or to check the link in the description. If you're serious about getting a good score, putting in whether it be you have 1 month to go or 1 year to go, it's important with the UCAT to get yourself equipped with the best resource possible because you need to be in the top 5 to 10%. So the first thing you should do is click the link in the description. This will give you access to my inner circle where I provide exclusive resources. The first of these is free PDFs. I every week will send out a free PDF covering some of my best strategies in each section. And so these include things like question types and key factors that you can consider. Additionally, by clicking out the link in the description, we can have a free one-on-one call where I give you my approach to practicing the UCAT and give you some advice and some free mentorship on how you can do well with this test and what it's like once you're in med. Furthermore, subscribe to the channel. I'm aiming for this to be the biggest area of free UCAT resources available with videos, PDFs, and free calls. And so why not get your hands on these resources that have helped me and others get into med? Please do me a favor and share this with others if you found it helpful, and stay tuned for more videos on this channel. Thanks very much, guys. I'll see you next time.